When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
This is The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. One of the most satisfying parts of getting better at running, especially if you're a little type A, is the numbers. When you cross the finish line of a big race, the time on the clock and the data on your watch can help you rate and review your performance. That's part of why so many of us love running. It's so simple to objectively track and measure your progress. But what about after the race? How can you tell if you are recovering well? Are you really ready, both mentally and physically, to start training again? Sure, there are some high-tech ways you can analyze your sleep, heart rate variability, and more to help give you something tangible to go on. But I would argue that relying on your watch or your ring or an app on your phone is going to be limited at best. Because it's more than your body that's been through the experience of training and racing. Your mind, your relationships, and perhaps even your identity itself have all been affected, and they need recovery too. No app or watch is going to be able to quantify those things in hard data. So what should you do instead? Let's find out. Welcome to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic, and my mission is to help you improve your running, your mindset, and your life with science-backed training and plant-based nutrition. Today, I'm going to get into the 3 critical weeks of recovery after your big goal race. I'll go over the do's and don'ts in the 3 weeks after race day, how to properly structure your return to running, and how a great recovery can improve your next cycle and maybe even the rest of your life. Before I get into the details, I wanted to take just a moment to highlight my PR team. The PR team is a small group of runners just like you who are working with me and each other to stay consistent, stay accountable, and work towards becoming better runners every day. Not to mention, it's really fun. I'll talk more about the team later on in the episode, but if you're ready to learn more right now, head to theplantedrunner.com/group. And of course, don't forget to stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode for another Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. If you've just finished a big goal race, or if you're about to, you might not even want to think about what's next. Or if you're like most runners, you've already got the next race on the calendar. While there's nothing wrong with planning ahead, be sure that you are also planning your recovery properly. Because when done correctly, this time can not only be restorative to your body and mind, but it can set you up perfectly to take your fitness to a new level. The most important consideration after a big race, whether it's a marathon or a 5K, is recovery. Studies have shown that it takes around 3 weeks to completely recover from a marathon. A handy rule of thumb is that you need about 1 day of recovery for each mile raced, so that means you'd need 13 days after a half marathon and 3 days after a 5K. Of course, rules of thumb are oversimplifications that don't apply to every individual, but it is a great place to start. I'll be mainly talking about the marathon today, but the same principles apply to other distances as well. Day 1 after a marathon, you should expect to be very sore, especially if you raced hard or if this was your first marathon. Going up and down stairs is going to feel like scaling Mount Everest, but try to get out for at least a little walking. Every day you should start to feel a little better and can add in a little more walking and moving. If you have access to a hot tub or a warm bath, this can be incredibly helpful on your damaged muscles. The water pressure and the heat help circulate your blood, bringing oxygen and nutrients to help repair and rebuild. Not only that, being submerged in warm water is great for relaxation and overall mood. Some people will use an ice bath or a cold plunge on sore muscles. New science is telling us that cold exposure actually slows down muscle repair. I personally hate the cold, so I'm definitely happy to learn that and avoid the cold. The day after the race is a perfect time to sit down and debrief while the memories are still fresh. Be sure to log as many details as you can about what went right and what went wrong, because this information can help you craft your training for next time. You'll want to write about how you prepared, what the weather was like, and how well you stuck to your plan. This can include details about logistics and travel and what you would like to do differently next time. What about your motivation for this race? Was it sky high or lackluster? There's no judgment of your answers, so be as objective and honest as you can. After all, there are really no good or bad races. Each one adds to your experience at racing, and taking the time to reflect on what went right and where you can improve is a critical step in improving at your next one. As a coach, I recommend that my athletes take 7 days off completely from running after the marathon. That might seem a little extreme to some people, but it's not just your legs that need a break. It's your mind. You've just spent the last 12 to 16 weeks training hard for your race. And it's not just the 26.2 miles in your legs, but all those weeks and weeks of training you've done. Your mind has been preparing and dreaming and planning for this one day, and not running for a week can help you decompress and get back to the things in your life outside of running. This is especially important if you were starting to feel like training was a grind, or if your race experience wasn't positive. Taking this time off can help bring a fresh perspective and make you miss running again. And no, not running for a week will not hurt your hard-earned fitness. Rest is how you repair and ultimately grow stronger. Now, when I say rest, I don't mean become one with your couch and glue the TV remote to your hand. You certainly deserve to binge watch and seriously relax during your rest week, but you should also aim to be lightly active throughout each day. Once you've gotten through the first week after your race, you can try heading out for a short, easy jog. I'll go over weeks 2 and 3 after your race in just a minute, but first, I want to tell you about a unique opportunity for you to become stronger, faster, and stay motivated to hit all your running and nutrition goals this year, and that is to join the PR team. I started it in 2022, and I have to tell you, it's even better than I imagined. Each member of the team gets a custom training plan made by me for you based on your unique fitness, goals, and lifestyle. Everything you need to achieve your running dreams is included, such as strength training, recovery, and even cross-training if you want it. I include weekly mental strength training as well as training tips and nutrition guides. But here's where it gets really cool. The group has its own page in the app where we share workouts, ask training questions, and get feedback from me and the other teammates. And each week, I create an exclusive private podcast just for the team based on the questions I get and what I see in their training each week. And I usually end up sharing behind the scenes and exclusive sneak peeks with the team that I don't share anywhere else. So instead of joining a Facebook group or sitting through another Zoom call, you get to listen to tailored advice on the run, and you don't have to do all of this alone. So if you're ready to take your running to the next level and join an amazing team of runners, head to theplantedrunner.com/group and join us today. It's more affordable than you think, and I can't wait to have you. The Planted Runner is sponsored by Liquid IV. As the weather starts to warm up, you know that dehydration is a much bigger factor in your running, and water alone is not always going to be enough on those sweaty runs, which is where Liquid IV comes in. Liquid IV's formula, powered by Live Hydroscience, is clinically shown to maintain hydration better than water for up to 4 hours. All you need to do is add a packet to your water bottle before your run, and you're ready to go with their true-to-fruit flavors, because when it tastes this good, there is no excuse for not staying hydrated. Find all your favorite hydration multiplier flavors on their website, from lemon lime to pina colada. Break the mold and own your ritual. Just one stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code PLANTED at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code PLANTED at liquidiv.com. Welcome back to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. After a week of no running, you will likely be itching to lace up and get out the door. So what comes next in the second and third week after your big race? It will likely be a little different for everyone. The key is remembering that even if you feel great with zero soreness, you are not recovered. Soreness is actually a poor indicator of muscle damage or repair, so don't rely simply on how your body feels on those first few runs. Every system in your body was highly taxed in your race, and getting back to your usual running schedule too quickly will not allow proper repair. Your lungs, muscles, kidneys, and even your immune system have been put through an incredible stress event, no matter if you ran, walked it, or crushed your PR. Your level of soreness will not alert you when everything is back to 100%, so you've just got to trust the recovery process. During the second and third weeks after your race, you can start to get back to the same frequency of runs as you had during the week before your race. Some people like to call this a reverse taper, but I'm not a fan of that phrase. Your recovery weeks should be way easier than the taper weeks preceding the race. Now is the time to slowly build back up with short, easy runs. I would be very careful with adding speeds during these 2 weeks. In fact, I recommend that you avoid speed completely. The reason is that speed sessions are designed to break you down. You are simply prolonging your recovery time if you try to rush this process. You might not feel or see the effects of improper recovery right away, but not respecting this process is the quickest way to injury, burnout, and performance plateaus. This is also the reason I want you to avoid strength training for at least 10 days after your race, and then only add light sessions in after that. Stretching, mobility, and balance work can all be done during these post-race weeks as long as they're gentle and restorative. The 3 weeks after your race can also be a challenging time mentally and emotionally for many runners. If you had a great race, you'll be thrilled and maybe tempted to get quickly back to building your fitness up even higher. Or if you had a tough race day, you might be beating yourself up for mistakes you made and searching frantically for your redemption race. Or you might be somewhere in between and you're ready to just take the next couple of months off. While signing up for your next race can be a good thing to get on the calendar, my advice is to use this time to reflect on how running fits into the rest of your life. Marathon training requires prioritizing training over other things in your life, so take a good look around. What have you been missing during those long training months? Have you skipped out on pancakes with the kids on weekend mornings because you were running long? Does your super supportive spouse need some much-deserved support from you for a while? If your partner was your biggest cheerleader during your marathon training, it's time for some payback. Running is not your priority over the next 3 weeks, so think about how you can use this time to treat your support team. Or perhaps your family was a little less than supportive. There's going to be a certain point in your running journey where your family gets a little tired of all this running that you're doing, and now is the perfect time to reconnect. What about your friends? How many Friday night get-togethers have you skipped because you needed good sleep for your run the next day? Even if you weren't spending all your free time running, maintaining friendships seems to be a little harder as adults. This recovery period can be a great excuse to pick up the phone. What about your other hobbies? Has running taken them away? My point is that we are more than just runners. We are multi-dimensional humans with room for lots of things that we love in our lives. But when we're focused on something so intense like marathon training, we need to be a little unbalanced with other things in our lives to really do it well. That is perfectly fine and, in my opinion, completely worth it. When we have the chance to step back a bit, like you need to do in order to recover fully after a marathon, it can be wonderful to reconnect with the other things in our lives that give it such rich meaning. After 3 weeks of rest and recovery, your body should be ready to enter a new phase and begin building again. Now, that does not mean that I've given you the green light to immediately jump back into a 12 to 16 week marathon cycle, unless you don't really want to get better at the marathon. If you do that, you're pretty much constantly training for the marathon. If you do that, you are pretty much constantly training or recovering from a marathon, which does not allow enough time to actually get that much faster at it. Most running experts say that 2 marathons per year is ideal for long-term improvement. That means you'll have a good chunk of time in between cycles. So should you take time off, build up some base miles, focus on speed, or something else? Whatever you choose, focusing on something different for a while can allow you to come back fresher and faster when you're ready to come back from the marathon. And who doesn't want that? And now it's time for the Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. Today's topic is the power of sound. When you listen to music or a podcast like this one, it can subconsciously alter the way you run. Fast, upbeat music can inspire you to run faster, whether you mean to or not, while podcasts or audiobooks can help you slow the pace down as you think about the conversation. No matter what you listen to, it can also be a powerful distraction technique, lowering your perception of effort and even making the run more enjoyable. But not listening to anything while you run has benefits as well. Headphone-free runners find that they have the auditory space to better clear their heads, work out problems, or even be more creative. So choose your sounds, or lack of them, wisely, depending on what you want to get out of the run. And don't be afraid to mix it up to get all the benefits. Thank you for listening to The Planted Runner, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Don't forget that you can enter to win a free custom training plan for your next race and get featured on the show. Just write an Apple Podcast review and enter at theplantedrunner.com/PRLab. Of course, reviews are the #1 way to boost this show's reach, and it's a great way to tell me what you'd like to hear next because I read every single one. Have a great run today.